Hey, it's Miss Chronic Chronicles.
Hey, it's Shay in Wonderland. You're listening to the Mary and Joe Show. So, Mary, can I be blunt?
Yes, you may, my awesome co-podcaster. Down a weird, awesome, amazing rabbit hole. We're going to be showcasing this amazing, beautiful soul. I think that's my opinion. I think you guys will get to really know her and her awesome story. Hopefully, she can kind of teach you a little bit about how she became the podcast she is. She is known online as Shay in Wonderland, and I'm really excited to have her share exactly how that even became a thing. And, if you guys have questions, then please leave them in the comments at the end of this video. So excited for you guys to see what she has coming. So there's lots of stories. So without further ado, Shay, come a little bit closer to the microphone. Let's see how loud you can get.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful, girl. Oh, but yes.
Hopefully I don't forget.
No, you're perfect. I'll just keep reminding you. So if it's a little bit weird on the sound, guys, it's because Shay and I had to improvise. We do that when we have a task at hand. And, and wasn't it true we had like different black and white forest and strange forests we went through before we finally got here to have our podcast?
Like, facts.
Right. And I'll just tell time is everything. I found this awesome content creator, I'm going to call you that, podcaster and beautiful soul through a YouTuber called Tales. Is it Tales of the Street? I think it is. Tales from the Street. I'll put his information below, but and the video to where she was found, which is just an amazing, unfortunate fortunes, unfortunately. I mean, really, such a truth. And it's the first time, I think it's the first time I've ever seen him interview a podcaster, which is just awesome too, because you and your story. Okay, so let's let everybody know you've never been on a podcast except your own. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. So she's going to share things she feels comfortable sharing, and other topics we may be branching off in like some really unique collabs, I would say, with some very, very special souls in both of our lives. And how weird the rabbit, I mean, should I keep saying rabbit, or what's a character in Alice in Wonderland that just why Shay in Wonderland? I have to ask.
So it kind of just like rolled off the tongue, but after like thinking about it and like doing a little bit more research on like the metaphors of it all, it was kind of like I could put myself, my life in every character. Right. And it was so like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so I don't know, like sometimes it's like the white rabbit because, I'm like wasting time or something. Or I'm trying to, like, do something important. And sometimes I'm like Alice. And sometimes I'm like it's a lot.
Well, and the podcast was only started in May, guys. And I was incorrect, Shay. I thought mine was in May as well. I actually brought up the rabbit in March the 7th, which,
March 7th.
Yes. So I don't know where you are or what you were thinking of. How long had you been thinking of making a podcast? That's a good question.
I don't know. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, what I can do to kind of, like, I don't know, work through my, like, I guess, like, trauma or experiences, whatever.
Right.
And somehow I just thought to do that, to podcast, and I don't know, it just felt so natural. Like, I don't know. It's just the beginning, though.
She is you're an artist of metaphors. I'm calling it out right away. You really are.
So true.
It is, though, girl. Own it. If you know it, own it.
I'll be thinking of something, and then I'm like, wow, no wonder, or like that, like whole metaphor about something specific, whatever it is. Like, no, I get it, and that happens to me all the time now.
You need to just have like almost a beatnik style. Do you know what I mean about that? Like the clicking of the hands, and like just spit out some words over and over and over, and then just make the whole podcast. Just this whole. So let me give you listeners, if you've not heard her yet, or you haven't went down that rabbit hole yet, she'll give you true stories and she'll give you questionables, which is good because everything is still personal. And her podcast comes from a place of, when you say pain, happiness, what are the words that would get the listeners? What are your hashtags? Own them. What is this podcast about?
I mean, everything. I don't know.
Everything, life.
It's hard. It's hard to like describe it. I've been trying to describe like how would I just summarize like this last year?
Oh, good point. Please do tell. What was this last year? And I'll bring you back. We're gonna keep circling.
Okay, so it's man. It started from me getting kicked out to living in my car to feeling like the universe is just talking to me,
yes.
Like for some reason, like signs. Who is that?
Right.
And then people telling me that's God, you should follow it. And then some people saying that's the devil, don't listen to it.
Mm.
And me like feeling like I am like this is for a purpose. Like why else would it happen to me?
Right.
Like following it, like Alice, I guess.
Yes.
You know, like trying to like, what is that? Like what does this mean? And then like people seeming to like know me somehow, which is kind of like what's happening in Alice in Wonderland too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good point.
Yeah, I'm like just not knowing like what is going on.
She was minding her business under the tree.
Yeah. And then I literally fell in a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of like trying to figure out like what it all means. I went down every like avenue, like friend group, family, like who I just met recently, and how did this like go like backwards or forward in a storyline that like makes it make sense.
Right.
And like sometimes they end up making sense, but they're just theories. And
right.
Then,
move closer.
No
your mic. Sorry. Move closer.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I don't know. It's just a lot, and then I don't know if it was just a distraction of like getting my life back together, but it was weird because, I mean, it's still weird because I did nothing but try to fix everything, like fix my life back to where it was. And I was like at a really good like time in my life. I was like independent, just bought a car, like everything was perfect. I mean, like not perfect, but content. I was content.
Right.
And then it just kind of like
you were living and surviving and content.
Right. And I don't know, I try to like call myself crazy, like maybe there's something wrong with me, but it destroyed all my relationships pretty much, and in every way.
Can I ask, even I have to ask in the right ways, because respectfully I want people to know that she still has privacy in her life. This is her podcast, speaks in metaphors. She's not going to tell you every little detail because that's her life. But I have to ask, do you feel like it might have been like stress and anxiety that brought you there in that point? That might have been like, because I've had like 3 nervous breakdowns myself, and I've talked about them openly. So, I mean, the stress can really bring you to a whole different land. Like,
I mean, maybe, but I feel like for a while in the beginning, it just like whatever was going on, it didn't really affect me too much. So it just slowly got to like some weird points or like weird spots in life where I'm still like, how am I not crazy? But for a while, it was just more like normal stuff. Like I just felt like my identity was being stolen online.
Right.
A while, but then like once it was becoming like it was like meshing over into my real world, like that's where I started getting concerned. But I don't know, I was always alone when a lot of this stuff was happening, and when I would go back to tell like my family or whoever, they kind of just like dismissed it, like if it wasn't a thing or that like I'm crazy or something. So I tried to convince myself like I'm just crazy. But it was just like, I can't deny, like, some of these things are, like, truly, truly happening. And I don't know.
There's synchronicity to it, no matter what. 100%.
Yeah.
But let's say that
Stronger.
the facts of you deciding to change. Let's go back. Let's not like confuse the listeners. Let's just go back, and we're not telling a tale to make anybody uncomfortable. This isn't a trigger warning anybody, but if it does trigger warning you, that's just seek your own help. We're not here we're just to share our own experiences. So in regards to, like, who are you, Shay, when you became the person you were? At least, let's say, what is it that made you? Let me go back, because I'm trying not to compartmentalize your podcast and your awesomeness as a person. But well, first off, are you comfortable sharing that you're in where your location is, or are you not comfortable? Because we don't have to share that. I don't know if it's public
that's
anymore.
fine.
Okay. Well,
I don't care about
okay. So she's in Arizona, and so you were born in Arizona, or?
I was born here.
Okay. And what astrology sign are you?
Virgo.
You're a Virgo. And do you identify as a Virgo, or do you feel like,
no, sometimes I think I'm Aquarius.
Ooh, that's a good one. No, Aquarius. You actually probably have some in your chart because you're a free spirit. I see it. Yes. Stamped and approved.
I used to I used to never feel like I related to any other one. So
I don't think you act like a normal Virgo. I said that right away. I was shocked. But
I'm pretty relatable with a lot of people these days. For some reason. So I don't know. If I read through them all,
I was
probably
telling her the first time I met her, oh my goodness, you're going through Saturn return. So I do want to say,
what is it called?
A Saturn return. Your Saturn return. Yeah, and everybody has a 30-year cycle. So when you get to that, you're not 30 yet, but you're in between. You know, it's like you got to get up to the speed bump to get over. It's kind of, okay, so they say that, like, major transitions, major shifts in who you are usually happen in your 30s. That's why they pun it as like midlife crises, but that's not the thing. Astrologically, it's every 7 to 30-year cycle. So like it goes in 7, then 15, then 30, as you know. So where you're at is at, she's 27, not to share too much with the listeners, but I think it's a beautiful time that you're starting this podcast right now. It really encapsulizes like a person who has strive and ideas. And I think that's what I really want to convey to these listeners today is that, Shay is starting off only almost 90 days ago. And I mean, you've already made it this far, girl. You have something inside of you. So your Arizona-ness is now is worldwide, but yet you're telling it in such a like poetic way. So, I mean, I'm going to ask you to, in your best Shay version, not Miss Chronicles way or Mary Jo show or Mary Can I Be Blunt way. I mean, in a Shay way. Tell people who you are from like maybe a child to what brought you to becoming a mother. I'm not going to speak for you. I'm going to shut up. Just give a summary. Anything you feel comfortable with saying.
Okay. So to summarize that,
Yeah.
I'm just right there. Just normal. Like, high school was like party days. Met my boyfriend. He was already graduated. And like he was a little bit older than me. And I got pregnant pretty early on in that, and then had 2 babies with him, and married him, and then that didn't work.
Yes.
I got pregnant again, like after the divorce and everything, someone else, and then we broke up, and I don't know, like I've always been like, just kind of like free spirited, I guess, but not like too crazy, like into like astrology or anything like that.
Totally understand.
Like it was always just something. I grew up in the church, and then I questioned it, so I like stayed away from it. I don't know. Like I wanted to try everything. I like have like entrepreneur like mindset. Like I want to be like a businesswoman, and like I have a lot of ideas. Like I want to invent something.
Oh,
I don't know.
You're going to record your ideas, and those inventions are happening. I think you should be putting out podcasts every day, because you're just, even if it's 5 minutes, people would listen. And so can I ask, the white picket fence, was that what you initially signed up for? Was that
100%.
Oh, really?
That's
okay.
Still
okay.
That's still cool.
And was that suggested in your life? So was it like somebody else wanted you for that, or was that what you wanted in your life at that time?
So probably up until like I was like 12,
okay.
I always thought my life was like perfect. I don't know if I was like being like a little brat or whatever, but I would just used to like walk around thinking like, oh, life is great, you know? And even like with like around that time where I thought like things were not so great, it's just kind of disappointing to me. But I always still pictured like my life like being exactly what I wanted it to be. Like
you strive just, regardless.
So yeah, like why is it not possible? Of course it's possible, no matter what.
Do you look for the positive and even the negative?
Lately I feel like I haven't, but most of the time I think so. Like out of all my sisters and stuff, like I always felt like I was trying to like turn people's like moods around, or if I see someone that I don't even know that they're like have a hard time on themselves, I'm like, no, why are you being so hard on yourself? You know? And it's easier to like give that type of advice than to take it.
Absolutely.
Like, but even still, like I don't know, like crazy stuff has happened to me, and I'll be like talking about it, like laughing, and like I don't know if that's just me being nervous or like just so crazy or something.
Life's just shown you a lot. That's has to be what it is. You have to laugh a little bit to get through it. I mean, come on, yeah. No, I mean, the reason I asked that, is that the part of your title is just so mind-bending in its own, which is such a good mind-bending. It's healthy. It's like massage the brain a little. A series of unfortunate fortunes, unfortunately, which is such. It's fabulous.
Yeah, that too. Like those two movies and like stories, books, however you watch them, they're like hard to like decipher or like explain, like by just not really like trying to, you know. So like whole thing, like even no, like even with Alice in Wonderland and the Lemony Snicket one, like I mean, I don't even know if I know like the meaning behind those still, and I love those stories. And that's kind of how I feel about my life. Like I'm still like, what is the meaning of this? Like, what is it supposed to be? Like, if it's some type of representation of something to show me something, sometimes I don't know what it is. But it could be a bunch of different things, and maybe it's just like what like stands out the most to me and what is important to me, and that's where like maybe that's my opportunity to like do something good with it.
Right. Be proud of this creation you've made. Right. Well, and then the first thing that really just stands out is like that you just said that initially, you know, you saw your life in one perspective, and now you see it in a different, and it's still evolving. And to have it, see, I want to tell you, I'm pretty sure I started my YouTube channel as Miss Chronic Chronicles at age 27. I have to double check that, but I'm going to double check. And the reason I named it Miss Chronic Chronicles is I knew that it was the chronicles of my life, but nobody would believe me unless I recorded it. And I knew that, you know, it's, the lady in red is a metaphor. So you have this lighter. You're not even the face. You're showing this. Is it kind of, what does the lighter represent for your show?
So I don't know what it is, but it seems to be like a thing about lighter, like torches specifically. And I always wondered, like, what is that? Why are people like so obsessive over these things?
Right.
And there's like a few things that are like that I guess like lumped together. Like, what is it? Like, why do they help you think?
Right. Yes.
And it took me back to like when this first kind of all started. There was like a few people when I worked in the smoke shop. They came in randomly, but they all stuck out to me because they all had like a different little story to them, and then they were all talking about specific items. So there was this one about this guy that like was talking to me about a torch, and he had found one, fixed it, and I don't know. I gave him a sticker and like a couple stickers, and it was just a random thing, and I don't know how, but that was just like the meaning for that behind me.
What a weird trinket that was left in your life to start all of that. That's so interesting. Sorry.
My boyfriend ended up giving me a lighter, right? And
yeah.
I didn't know what the lighter looked like, or this torch light or whatever. The one that the guy was telling me about, I didn't know what it looked like, but he was describing how he fixed it. So as soon as my boyfriend gave me this one lighter, instantly I was like, that's it. That's the lighter that this guy told me about. And he was like, oh, you can have it. And I just thought that was so crazy because I don't even know still if I'm right about that. But something about that like makes me believe like that's what he was saying. They don't make them anymore and all this stuff. But
they're worth a lot of money. Let me tell you, lighters, I've sold them on eBay before. I've been, yeah. Lighters are worth. Them. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. That's so, so it's a zip. Is it a zip?
The one that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think it's a score.
Oh, okay.
It like has a little lever and like flips up or something. No,
so do you look, I'm asking, because I don't know, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'm asking. Is it like lighting up a room? Is it like telling people, bringing light to things?
There's a lot.
Oh, so girl, I love it. You're such a genius.
There's okay, so I don't know why, but everywhere I go, like all the lights, street lights, like just everything, even the sun. And this sounds crazy, but
no, nothing's crazy like, around here.
It just gets brighter.
Right.
I don't know why. And my aunt told me that, like, she just asked me randomly. I wasn't talking about it, but she told me, or she asked me, she was like, when you're like under like a street lamp, does it like explode? And I was like, no, why? That happens to me. And I'm just like, wow. And I was like, well, they do get bright. And I don't know. I don't know what that is. The heat. I don't know. It seems like a lot of our lights out here right now are like, they're swapping them to like a UV light.
Yeah, and they're an ugly fucking color, and they give me a mad headache. And I think they have a buzzy sound too, which is even more horrific.
I just don't understand. Someone said that it was because that's what happens when the lights are going out. But
here,
I don't.
We're gonna play off of your listeners with a few different stories because, and they're not stories specifically. They're more outer box because I have to say this. I think it's the only way that you, Shay, can go wild too, and you know what I mean. It's like let Shay loose. Okay, so. All right, you know the Alice in Wonderland story, we're here, but you also know the Wizard of Oz story with the yellow brick road, right? Okay, so why aren't we having glow-in-the-dark roads for instead of these street lights that are so stupid, because we already have headlights? Like, what's going on? What's going on, really? And why? Here, I got another question. Have you ever thought of why there's no full light across the bar of a car? Why is it on the left and the right? That's weird. That's just strange to me. Think about that. That's fucking strange. Like, give me a damn bar of light.
If one light goes out, then they probably both will go out now.
Yeah, technically. I mean, like, well, not really. No, we get ticketed all the time for those assholes. Yeah, you're right. No, but that's annoying.
I mean, I have like to change.
Glow in the dark streets, people. We need it, and it could be solar paneled. Not so. Yeah, it could technically, but it's solar lit.
I mean, they're already struggling trying to like fix these streets. I feel like.
Well, it just needs some glow in the dark paint. We'll have a great day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you know.
But my whole point is, Shay, at any time you want to bring in theories, you can with any of these stories, including like Cinderella any of it. You have I let you free, okay? So let's go back to your mother. You're doing the best things she can. She's doing the how she can do. She starts in this journey of thyself. Would that be a good way to really explain it?
Because I was literally when I moved in with my sister for about a year until she kicked me out.
Right.
But the whole thing, like she came and like pretty much saved me because I just wasn't happy.
Right.
She let me live with her, and I remember like on the drive, like leaving the last time I ever like was at my house or whatever with my ex.
Right.
I remember feeling like, oh, I don't know, like I kind of want to turn around because like I just knew that like my life is about to change, you know.
Yes.
But I needed that. I really did. So I adjusted and I was working on myself. Like I was getting a job and everything. I was working, and when people wanted to hang out, I was like, well, you're gonna have to come do Ubers with me or something because I'm busy. But I was fine. I was like content, and I was like trying to like kind of like change my subconscious way of thinking about things that like hurt me. Like that's just society. Like a lot of things. It's really society is like reasoning why I get like so hurt about certain things because I don't know, and I don't want that to affect me anymore because I don't know. People are people, and bad things happen all the time in relationships. And I don't like to just blame it on like certain things. It's so irrelevant to like my heart, my soul. You know, I don't know.
Right. No, and you can't grow if you're just pointing fingers. It doesn't work that way. And identifying why you might have stayed too long or why you are, happy or not. Those are things that come with time usually. So, I mean, you're not wrong for making your own decisions in life, but it's, of course, going to stir the nest of people who want to make their decisions for you. That's the sad part of life. Wouldn't you agree? Fuck.
And even with that, like, it's kind of like structured the same way, like with how I am dealing with like life right now.
Right.
Because there's like this like looming like thing where I'm like, am I taking too long like to like just get myself like out of this, or is I doing it for a reason? Like does that make people mad? I don't know.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Has the experience been worth it?
What was that?
Has your experience so far and we're not going to specify if you don't want to, because I don't think that it's irrelevant. This is Shay in Wonderland. We're talking about a story. Just follow the story, listeners. So would you say the experience has been worth it regardless? Like, I mean, not all of it, but would you trade those experiences to be back unknowing? Sometimes. Okay. And
because
please.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you please elaborate.
So I feel like if someone Men in Blacked me and I just lost every like memory of everything that's happened, I feel like I wouldn't I would be back to where I was, which is fine. Right. But I feel like I've learned a lot in all of this, so about myself and about life and like who I am, even if I sometimes don't really know that anymore. Right. Like I feel like it's all for a reason, and I feel kind of blessed to like be able to get these experiences, and I like found new passions for things, and kind of got to be shown like what the world is, and I don't know, like it kind of scares me if it just kind of went away, but then at the same time, there's a lot of things that make me sad about it, where I wish it just never happened because it involves like the way I feel about like my children, or like how I like what I'm scared about with them, like how it will affect them and how it's going to affect me as a mom.
Right.
So I don't know, like someone could just like like take those parts out. That'd be cool.
Right. The pain. Take away the fucking. There's so many good songs.
But then
You need to
if
send
there's
me
no
that you love that I can put in the background
right.
of what you just said, because truthfully,
But then
no,
what
please,
happens to take out the pain though?
you don't have
To
balance. The black and the
like
white, they need to
you
happen.
have
The
to
whole.
there has to be darkness for there to be light. So I don't know. Like, what if like the universe needed this to happen for me to like meet you and to like share something, and then if I don't do that because I don't have all of my memory of it,
Right.
then they're just gonna like choose someone else to do it. You know, maybe next time. You know, maybe it's supposed to happen.
Hey, you're not the only one who's ever thought that about being a podcaster and being like, if I lost my memory, could I know who I am from my voice? It's real. Us podcasters do think that. So you're not morbid. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're part of it. You are a real podcaster by even thinking that shit. Which is sad. We got a head trauma backup plan, guys. We're good. So no, but for real, not to be joking, but hey, we all joke, right? Literally, what is your favorite episode you have done so far, and why?
My favorite one, I don't know. Maybe the one about like how it kind of, I don't know, like I guess it was just kind of like an experience that like I kind of put together in my own life, and I talked about it in a way of it being like, I don't know, like a movie or something, or like different thinking of like how the worlds may end, and then to like not be scared about like if the end times were coming or like the end of the world, like the stereotypical movies, but like to put like a piece behind it so that it doesn't scare people, and then like if that's a thing, whatever.
Right. No, but you actually, I have to elaborate. Honestly, the world is changing slowly, but yet in degrading aspects over how long we've seen it, you know, and you're seeing it firsthand too. But like, I left California and I live in a rural area now, so I don't even hear police. And if I heard police, I'd get like, you know what I mean, awkward. Because like, so, and to have it now be our whole, how do I put this, normal is scary, like from the inside out. And you're judged on how and where you're at in life. And wouldn't you agree? Like this is one of those things. Please, wherever, if you want to add anything to that.
I was just gonna say like it's like everything that wasn't important, like the materialistic of life. It's like all of those things are now the most important, and it's more of like a street cred thing instead of like your actual credit, but somehow it's like both sides together in a weird way.
Right.
I don't know. It's I can explain that more.
You're gonna have to say it on another podcast of your own. That's for sure. Heck yeah.
Like,
no, like, rabbit hole. She found another. She put a stick in the ground. One little bunny flag here. No, for real. No, but also, so perception is what we're pretty much call that, what we're talking about. Perception's one thing. Reality is a whole different thing when it comes to what pain and suffering is, and choices, we say, right? Because you've like you said, you live the white picket fence, and then you decided to take an experience in your life that has brought you in a total different direction. And like you said, you've met so many interesting people. And I mean, the real reality of having your family turn on you, as you've just touched on, you know, that's hard when you're trying to find yourself to have the ones that are familiar around you. And then here I'm just a stranger. I'm like, holy shit, who's this girl? She needs for more publicity on her fucking podcast. She's amazing. She has so much to say that's not even like, it makes us all think about our lives. That's what your podcast does. Just your own stories bring us to our own experiences. So you just going through your own, what is it? vulnerability, your own vulnerability, sharing it in your own special way. Nobody is doing this, guys, on any podcast I've seen yet. Let me just say. So she's very unique, and I hope that you blow up because of that. But the pain that you feel, do you feel like this is sort of a form of like creativity that you're able to like not be just in pain, to kind of release it in a new, beautiful way? Is that kind of where you're tapping into all this, or?
Yeah, so I kind of like always like had some type of creativity.
Ooh, do tell.
Like in a lot of ways. Like
Okay.
I like to sing. I think I'm like a pretty like okay like writer.
Oh wow.
All my family is kind of like musically talented and like artistically like tattoos.
That's
drawing,
freaking awesome.
Stuff like that. So
hey,
I don't know.
Then I'm gonna say this right now, and you can just slap me across the digital web, but I'm saying it right now. Us artists, if you're not making things, you will fall in the deepest, darkest, ugliest rabbit hole you've ever seen, because you lose yourself. Don't fall backwards, fall forwards. Hear me on that, you know? Does she fall forwards or backwards? I think she falls backwards. That's a metaphor. Right. No, so in regards to what was it? How it had to be like, if it was three, no, the creativity, yes. Please do share.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, so being on the street, I just want to add that, like,
yes.
Maybe a piece of advice for people out there, like, if you like create, like, if you want to be creative, or if you have like things like that are like artsy or whatever, like use that as like the distraction.
Yeah.
When like if you're trying to get sober.
Yeah.
I feel like I always like tell people like you're into doing tattoos, okay. Like, you need to get, like, a tattoo gun. Like, you just put all your time into that when you're getting sober, you know? Like,
right.
Because like, being creative, like, it's so, like, that's the best way to, like, distract your mind from, like, anything. So.
It's the healthiest addiction you can really have.
And then you're, like, and strengthening your brain.
It gives you something back that is loving yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So spoken word is your gift? And are you a good drawer as well?
No and no.
Oh. You're so funny.
I actually suck at drawing.
Oh.
Stick figures are cool.
Okay. Well, I have to ask. Didn't you not say that you went to college? Didn't you just say that you did? So share that, because I'm an Art Institute dropout, and I don't hate. I think you said you graduated, right?
I don't even judge you.
Okay, thanks. It was expensive and stressful.
No, you're fine. Because mine's like, well, listen to how like silly mine is.
Please share.
And it, like years later, after after my third child, just a couple years ago, I got my GED. I finished that in a month. Like,
heck
I felt like $1 million. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And I was like, wow, like, I'm cool. But then I just got motivated to like do some type of like certificate program for something. And I kept seeing stuff for like phlebotomy everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I think that's just a sign. Like, maybe I should do it.
Explain
and I'm not really one.
Explain it to the people who don't know.
Yeah, so phlebotomy is an invasive procedure that's not that crazy as it sounds, but it's just drawing blood. So
you're a professional vampire.
Yeah.
That's something you should own too. Fuck it.
I mean, I like wear that like as like a badge of like, yeah, I got that going for me, even though I don't have a job.
Right. No. I get it.
I'm proud of it. I dropped out in Chicago and then finished it out here in Arizona.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and then I didn't do anything with it because I didn't do an externship.
Okay.
And that kind of like threw me off, like the like out of the
requirements.
Of, like, people can like get a job there. I don't know.
Right.
But and then I found out that like maybe like I am not that into it because I wanted
Okay.
to open up my own med spas in the future.
Ooh.
And so I went to a different college for business and healthcare management.
Interesting.
And I did that online, and I did like a couple of months worth, and yeah, that's when I just kind of was like, I don't know about this. So I kind of felt like a failure.
No. You're just not found your passion yet, and maybe spending
yeah,
more time connecting with amazing people, even in your like anywhere. Don't let it limit the universe in this one for you. I have to say that. So, like, if you guys are listening and you'd like to come and hang out with this interesting person too, she is on Instagram. That's where you can find her, and you can find her podcast, and you can even leave a comment on the episodes because they're all great. Check them out. But in regards to that career, is it just like frustrating maybe? Because I felt that way for a little while, that I owed all this money. And I mean, was that kind of part of it too that's defeating? Or
I mean, I don't know. The school shut down. That was weird.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was really strange.
That's fucking
I don't
aggravating.
really know what's going on with the student loan. They said that it was like they were doing some forgiveness thing.
Nope, they just screwed us all over. Announcements. They just screwed us all over.
So, and then like something was getting moved around. I was confused, and like I still honestly don't know like how that works. I don't even get it, honestly. I did it all myself, like when I enrolled and everything. And
we live in a time that college doesn't make us money anymore. It's really sad. It kind of takes our money and drowns us. So I'm proud of you for not being so hard on yourself, changing things.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I wanted to do it, and I'm still like proud that I did. So
right, and eventually, if you wanted to, you could get back into it because it's unless their credits. See, the Art Institute went out of business for me, so we don't get any credits either. Right? Yeah, they didn't notify students either. It was awesome.
Yeah, no one told me.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, and then your life has then taken you to meeting incredibly interesting people. Do you want to kind of give a soft intro to how that rabbit hole happened too?
So some would say like, what is wrong with you? Like, no wonder like your life is like crazy because I just kind of trust people first and then ask questions later. So something kept happening where I kept running out of gas like extremely fast.
Oh no!
And my car would just shut off. Like I don't know. It was weird. Maybe I was just not paying attention to my gas, but it
stressful.
I felt it was. I don't know. It's a frustrating thing for me, and that was like my own little rabbit hole, or another little rabbit hole on the side.
Right.
So, where's my gas?
Were you being siphoned? It's happened to me before.
Possibly.
Yeah, I had to get a locking one. It was fucked up.
It would be happening like at my mom's house. And I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it was had to like maybe save my life or something. I don't know. But
hey, no, actually, that's a real thing. I had a Corolla during a shooting in New Orleans that just randomly would not turn on, but the next morning it turned on just fine. It was during Halloween. I was supposed to be going to the French Quarter and it didn't happen. So sometimes, your car, that could have been a stopping in the universe. It could, if you believe in that. I do.
I mean, it always seemed like no matter what was happening, like someone or the universe wanted me in one spot. Like it was like they didn't want me moving around.
Right.
Yeah, it was weird, strange.
So you have always lived in Phoenix. I'm sorry. Is that okay if I say that? My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so the school, you said you did it online, or did you go to Chicago to go to school?
For the phlebotomy, I went to Chicago.
Wow.
Then,
okay.
And I was already I was just getting into it actually, so it was like pretty new. Some stuff happened, and I just didn't want to be out there anymore. I was like alone with my son, with people I didn't really know too well.
I get that.
So, it didn't feel like good for my mental anything. So I
That
just
makes
left.
sense. No, that's the right thing to do, to leave.
And I finished it here in Phoenix, and yeah, I did it with my friend.
That's
and
awesome.
We both got
Wow. And so is that how your introduction to your hearts, I'm going to put it like that. Is that okay if I say that? Your hearts? How did you meet your hearts? How did you meet your lovely hearts?
Both online.
Okay.
Different times, like maybe like 4 months apart.
Uh-huh.
I met the second one like a month maybe after I broke up with the first one.
Uh-huh.
But still was friends with the first one, and we should give them nicknames.
Okay, you give them a nickname.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because I have it in the.
Well,
my
what
podcast.
are they? Oh, no. Let's give them a good nickname so you can use it on your own podcast. So, what's their personality? Like, what's their spirit animal?
Oh man,
you're the only one who knows. Plus, I'm trying to warm people up to know that she has a fabulous podcast that has an episode featuring their fabulousness in it. So, please, what are we dealing with?
We're gonna the first boyfriend. We're gonna call him LV.
LV.
And second boyfriend, we're gonna call him Breakout.
Okay, so LV, like, okay, LV.
LV.
I love it. Like, I almost want to say like Mixmaster LV. I don't know if that's a thing, but anyway. Okay. And how funny. Okay. So, who are these spirits in your life, and why do they matter to you? Let's talk about their awesome.
They're so important in like everything. It's crazy. They are. I don't know. Like sometimes they're like some magical spirits, like sent to like guide me, and sometimes they're just my friends, and that's amazing. Sometimes they're like my loves, like I love these men, like oh my god, thank you Jesus for them, like my bodyguards almost.
Right.
And
hey, own that right there. The next time you're walking with both of them, you own that shit all the way. You are a podcaster with a mission, with these two beautiful hearts next to you. Own that shit. I mean it.
You make me sad, emotional.
No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be. Look, I listen. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I'm gonna get you in, and then I'll tell you. I'm not bringing it on the screen. I'm just gonna put the links in the description for people. But I think it's safe to say you've already made it publicly. I've already made it publicly. I'm Polly. She's Polly. We're all Polly. Everybody's happy to be Polly. So she shared her experience, and it is a recent, I guess, another rabbit hole. Girl, you got a yard full of rabbit holes. You got it. You're Alice with the holes. Oh my gosh. I see like
Alice in Wonderland meets the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf.
Right. There you go.
Holes. Literally are.
No. So these two have, I mean, when you found them in your lives and then they walked side by side with you and you've went through the ups and downs together, I mean, do you feel like it's a kind of love you haven't felt before, or is it something that is just so independently, you love them so much independently, or is why together? Because so many people are going to ask that, and we've already had our conversations, no judgment. But why together? Why not separate?
I don't know, I love them for different reasons separately, and I love watching them together for the most part, when I don't feel left out or whatever.
Right.
But I pushed it like not too much, but I always wanted them to know each other because I wasn't exclusively with one or the other in the beginning.
Right.
Since
you met them at the same time. Yeah.
No, in the same time of life. So that's why I to them too, very important because they came at a really weird time, in the middle of me feeling like life is crazy, and like just like me, I don't know, like I don't know, just
They
a weird time.
see you. Admit it.
Yes.
They see you.
Right.
I think they respect you from what I heard. So, I mean, these are the people that actually have your back, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
Okay.
And
go ahead,
yeah,
please.
I want to
Please.
make that clear. I think sometimes like I'm not like giving them like the credit that like they deserve, and I know that, and like, and it sounds like, you know, I mean, like, I'm sure a lot of people will probably be like, why don't you guys just leave her? Like, look at her, she's crazy.
Oh, no.
But like sometimes like I tend to like take my anger or like my frustration out on like just anybody close to me, and I'm trying to like stop, like I'm trying to not do that.
Right.
And like before it's too late and they just like are fed up with me.
Here, I got to bring you back though to some of the parts you said in your podcast with them, which was that love, you can't expect to have everything from one mate. That's what you said.
Right.
Do you still have your list? Pull it out, girl. Where's that list? That was such a good list. You said something to the extent of that I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. Please speak.
You kind of like you don't ever get like everything you need from like one person.
Move closer.
That's okay. Like, you know, like one person like
perfect
can't really give you everything that you need, and that's okay. But you can also be okay with like whatever it is that they are giving you,
right.
And both ways are fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all either. Like, if things are crazy in the world, like especially in our like world, and even if it's crazy for them, like we all kind of like, even if we're fighting or whatever, we always end up together. Like, I went to jail for a day, and LV was in jail already for like some time, and without even knowing it, we got released at the same time in the same.
That's wild.
Like, yeah, and I was like, what? How is that? And that happened twice, but the second time we weren't in the same jail.
Right.
It was just like a weird thing that was happening that was always bringing us all back together, no matter what.
Do you feel at all comfortable discussing, because I find it a fucked up shame that they are even arresting you for the things they did. Do you feel comfortable to, or we can say that's your podcast, you'll talk about it.
I mean, it's for a DUI. I was 21, and
right.
The fees keep going up, and I can't pay it. They keep like putting that out that like I keep getting DUIs, but it's just because unpaid. I don't know why.
Right.
It's not even that, and like they keep.
So they make it hard for you to even get out of the problem when it was a mistake.
Yeah, I'm just like honestly like ready to go back and just beg them, like, please, I'm trying to do like some good things. I don't need my background to like be like.
It's a good point. You honestly should see if they'll work with you, and you can maybe meet with the judge or something, because this is out of control. Then if it's control, you know, you can't.
Sometimes I feel like I'm doing it to myself, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I get like I need to pay and stuff.
But it affects everything from your housing to everything, right? It like sucks you dry from stability.
It's just, and then the looming fear over your head of like, oh my God, do I have a warrant or not? Like,
right.
And it's something that's like not important when, and especially like, and not that I'm any deserving than the next person to like. Not,
but you're still human. Still acknowledge that you're still human. You make mistakes. Yeah.
Of course, and it's just like for jail for me is like first like super scary.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't really do anything except for kind of like I want to do important things in life, you know, and I don't know how far I can go with my background as it is already, but it's just like every single time, like it's like there goes like my whole dreams and goals, you know what I mean? Like,
not in this one, not with this podcast. You can be going through the ups and downs. I will always be that voice, because seriously, you have already, in the little bit of time I've seen how hard you struggle, but also how how hard you try. I see it. And I don't even know you like that, you know? So that says a lot. Like, and the only reason I mentioned your two lovelies is that it has to be at least sort of surreal to have these energies that love you unconditionally and you love them unconditionally in this weird ass fucking triangle right now of your life, that everybody's strong because they're together, but also everybody's trying to grow and progress. So the lessons that come with this experience with each other, I mean, what is it that you love about each of them? That's what you should share.
I love that even when I'm questioning everything about them, and
right,
even like just being a total like jerk to them, I love that they're still there, because I feel like that they're probably, and I don't know this to be a fact, but they could possibly be just as like frustrated and just as confused sometimes, maybe, as I am. And
right.
like I know that like for the most part, like I don't know about how Blako feels about it right now about the situation, but I know that he wouldn't want to be like alone or like have one person out of like our little group than
right
the other time.
None of you want pain on each other. That's the beauty of it.
Right. And like it's
I think a poly relationship, at least from, and we're not giving away anything. You have to join our other episodes. So just if you think we're going to give you everything, fuck off. For real. A poly relationship teaches you your own patience and self. And it really does mirror, I think, you know, you see yourself and also respect others' differences. So, I mean, how long? It's only a year you've been experiencing. I'm 6 years ahead of you, girl. And the first year was the most wild and awesome. And it was like, wow, how is this? So do I tell anyone? That's the next thing I said. And how do you get dating in that world? It's like a very strange world to date in that world.
Well, for the most part, like in the beginning, I was like always trying to like explain to them like, what are we doing? Trying to like date each other? Like, who are we impressing? We're like on the street, like get our life together. What's wrong with us? Like, like this is important. But and I think I kind of like blocked myself or like guarded myself with that looking. But I always try to let them know that like I appreciate you. Like, you know, I might not show it like that in like other ways, like in an outwardly way, but if it came down to it, like I will die for you guys, you know, like I appreciate you guys so much, and I can't wait for like this to be done so I can like go back to being a friend and being a good girlfriend and like showing that I really appreciate you. And
I have to say it.
Too much for them.
You guys met technically in the street, or technically when you're still already living your own lives?
We all had our own lives.
Okay.
And for a little while.
Gotcha.
But mostly in the streets now.
Okay.
So, like,
how fucking pure, and I hope they'll hear the episode. So you're listening to me, guys. Here we go. So ultimately, how fucking beautiful is that also to know that they met you at the worst? You met them at the worst. And your own personal opinion of yourselves. Not like it's the real worst. God damn it. But to know that the love was pure.
Yeah. That
you're lucky.
That's what holds me like to that. Like that's what brings me back to like that reality of like, okay, like I have to remember like how I met them, why I love them, and why they're in my life to begin with and before everything. And I always say like, even if like for whatever reason like any of them or they knew something that was being done to me that was like not okay, like that I would somehow find like whatever, depending what it is, whatever, like I'd probably more than anything forgive and be okay with it, because they no matter what, like they always were there more than
Right.
anybody. I say, honestly.
Right.
So
it's proof is in the pudding. It's ride or die for real.
Yeah, like sometimes I really feel that way too.
It's real. Nobody can take away your experiences or the way that you feel with that. Like I find you brave as shit that you're only a podcast that's been around as long as you have, and you're just walking into yourself. Like you are, as they say, walking towards the fire. Do you feel that too? Because I totally see your.
Oh, for sure.
Give yourself credit for that.
Like, if I'm not being tricked by anybody or the world or the devil, then I'm tricking myself.
There you go.
Like,
yeah.
And that's such a negative way to think about it. But then I have to also be like not blind to that being a possibility. So it's kind of stupid to just walk around and be like, oh, it's okay. Things are going to be okay.
No.
Like, I don't care.
You're wanting it not to be the way it was before, so you had to change up the system and literally reset, it looks like, so
it's something.
Right.
That is actually
right. I mean, and even as you were saying in your recent podcast of like leaving the experiences here for the right people to listen to, if you know what I mean, wink, wink. And the you from like 10 years from now to really love yourself for being brave enough right now. And then to build out of that. Because I'm going to tell you what, Shay, people are going to want to get to know you, and not for like what they can take from you. It's about getting to know what you have to give them hope. And if you've experienced this, walking amongst people who have given up on themselves and you haven't given up on yourself or others, you're just in a rock and a hard place. Like, keep reminding yourself that you've got soldiers with you, like with you on this journey. And you're like equipped with your podcast, which is of truth. And I'll tell you what, you could even be doing influencer stuff pretty much by the time you guys get true housing, you know what I mean? Because the three of you could do testing and stuff like that and do reviews and things like that. So, and we'll talk about that behind the scenes, but I'm more than happy to see you get yourself comfortable in your own skin, because your voice is here. Like, I don't know, what are some of the things that I guess in the experience of living on the street, we were going to touch on what you have witnessed. Like, what are some of the things you've experienced since unfortunately not having your car anymore?
Yeah, so I felt like life was kind of preparing me for that, to not have my car.
Right.
It was weird. Like, certain things would be like breaking down, but it was like if some of the people I would be meeting beforehand, like they would leave me like something that ultimately, like I'd be like, what is that? Like, I insisted on giving it back to them. I don't know why they left it with me. It's something random, like a piece of a tool or something.
Then you feel bad that you have their shit. I get that.
Well, then like I'm like, I don't want that. Like, throw it away, thinking like they put some voodoo on it. And and then my brakes go out. And I need that specific piece. And I'm like, what? How do they know that? That's weird. That's weird. Like, right? Like, I don't know. It puts like a defense up. Like, okay, that's like not normal.
No.
But I don't know. Little things on my car, like the weather stripping, would be coming off. And I'd leave a parking spot and someone would comment like, oh, look, you need that. You should go get it. And it would be like weather stripping in the parking lot, like right next to my car.
That's
like,
wild.
there. And I never would pick it up. And that kept happening. And looking back now, I was like, my mom made a comment to me like, oh, you're just like spending all this time with your car, like just tearing it apart.
What?
And when I was trying to just fix it, like give it a paint job and stuff. And like, and like I did research to do that, so I kind of felt like salty about that. But
of course,
after losing it, like I kind of was like, I mean, I couldn't sit here and like say like that they were messing up on stuff because that's how I was experiencing it. But there's no way to prove it anymore because it all switched back to normal some weird way. Like, it's easy to do that, but also, like, I really wasn't like appreciating it the way that I thought I was.
Right.
Because I thought I was appreciating it so much, and not that that really matters.
Right.
To like
the change just happened, though, is what you're saying. I have to grab.
It's probably because I didn't take care of it or trust in anything or listen enough, or like more than or like in a way that I should have.
Shay, I'll be right back. I have to go in the other room, but I'm right here. So just please, I'll be right back. 1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Improvising listeners, we're here. So yeah, so you were saying you didn't feel like you appreciated enough, and you almost felt like it had kind of disappeared on you. Your value system is what you're saying. It changed your value system. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Got it.
Kind of, and so it was just showing me that like those little things like don't dwell on it,
Right.
And it turned into like even bigger things, I guess, in ways that are like, okay, but like, why not worry about that? Why not care about that?
Right.
To the point where like I'd be like thinking about something that's terrible that happened and like crying about it, and then like something would like switch in my mind, like, what am I crying about this for? Like, and I would stop crying, like I couldn't cry, and I felt like I was like fake crying almost. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird.
Your emotions were just getting more and more. You were just getting used to things. It's the jaded feeling we had said. Really is. You get numb. You kind of get numb.
Kind of, and I couldn't distinguish if it was me like losing my soul or my emotions like a sociopath or something, or if it was like God and the universe's way to show me that like that's not important or that's not even real. That's not the point of this type of thing.
Your priorities.
Wipe those tears and like get up,
Right.
And I don't know. I struggled with trying to find the positive in all of it.
Because you felt defeated as fuck, I bet.
Yeah, and most of the time at the beginning, like for the first like good 6 months maybe,
right.
It was like I was just talking to anybody that would listen and trying to get anyone to believe me.
Right.
Like something is happening. I don't know. And then now I just kind of feel like everyone kind of already knew something was happening, and I'm like the last person on earth to know. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
strange thing.
You're the one though that brought yourself to the internet and brought people aware of who you are. So I think that was more, if it was self-sabotaging by being positive for yourself, then it sneaked you in on that one. Like, be a little nicer to your gut on that one, because it said, well, if you don't know you're doing it, we're going to autopilot you doing this. And, all your things you think you're horrible about, you're going to relook at them later and be like, no, you were strong as shit. And you had to do what you had to do at the time to be like, because I have to ask, you're so sweet about it. And that's the only words I can use. I don't even know what the right words are. You probably have a better one. But when you suggested that.
Sometimes people don't take me serious.
No, I'm definitely I hardcore take you seriously. But the sweetness about how your relationship, you were like, I cared about him. I tried to make it work. And then it just broke down. And then it just got ugly. I mean, you're sweet about it. And we don't need details. That's not the point. The point is that you've just picked yourself up and moved on. That's hard. Even though you said it was like killing you. So that's also real. Like, you're a totally different person, I'm assuming, than who you were in that situation. Am I correct? Or?
I mean, yeah, always. I feel like even just my opinion about it, I feel like always like changes so drastically in a way. Like, where I'm kind of seem like I'm a hypocritical person, but I think that.
Why would you say that? Don't say that. You have to elaborate if you're going to say that. You're not a hypocrite.
Not in a negative way necessarily when I say hypocritical. But what is hypocritical? It's like kind of like, well, you just said this, but how are you saying this?
Right.
And what I think that, you know how usually when people are like, oh, like you're being fake, you know, like what is that? If it's not like, okay, well, I think it's fake if you have to like convince yourself to think the same way about something for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you like act on it, then you're being a hypocrite and you're fake. But I think there's something that's like worth knowing or having in you that can allow you to like change your mind on things and or see it from different perspectives and like
you're not
because I don't
right. Yes, please.
Like when I'm like trying to explain that to someone, like if I'm in a debate or whatever, and someone tries to like give me an example of like how like that's being hypocritical or whatever, like I do it to people too. So I'm not perfect, and it's a really confusing.
That's so like, brave of you to say that. You don't know how brave you are. Nobody says that.
I mean, like
you're brave as shit.
Your natural thing, you go on a defense when someone's trying to tell you about yourself, you know.
Right.
But then like you have to understand that like, okay, well, you can take any scenario and put it into any situation. Like someone could be sitting there like complaining to me about somebody, right?
Right.
And instantly, without even trying or wanting to, because it feels like I'm taking like their thing away from them and like turning it into my life. And it sounds selfish, but I can't help it. But I instantly start like retreating inside. I'm like, oh my God, why do I feel like they're talking about me? You know, like, cause you
have trauma. You have real ass fucking real trauma. That's what that is. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I said it to you already, but I mean, as a person who is vulnerable on the internet and somebody who is honest about it, like I don't have normal PTSD. I have like warlike PTSD, and you definitely the fuck do too. I can tell. You're strong as shit. You don't need to tell the world all the details unless you want to, but I'll say for you to recognize you're not perfect and to say it out loud, that's hard. A lot of people don't know how to even say it. So that's.
I mean,
please.
I hold like some like pride in that because like this world is so crazy and like I don't ever want to like give in to like what society I guess wants or like what people
hell yeah
want. When it's something that like I like the way that I view it, like if I were to see it happen on the outside,
come a little bit closer.
Like if I were to see, sorry.
Yes. No, you're good.
So I just like think of it like, okay, if I wasn't me, I'm like seeing it from the outside, like how would I feel? Like, okay, I don't care. Like that's not my life. So if I can just speak my truth or whatever,
right,
then there's gonna be like in a group of 10 people, like 7 of them might care, and 7 of them might not care. And those odds, no matter what, I don't care.
You know what? So, that's what you're doing. You're practicing that on your podcast by not giving a fuck, which is exactly what you have to do when you come on the internet. I haven't had trolls really because I don't give a fuck. So they don't exist to me after I see they're a troll. Like, bye-bye. And like I have to ask, so do you feel like it's been a learning curve since you got the media attention you did? I guess that's the way to put it, from that other channel, because am I correct? You share with me there were some really nasty comments, which you don't need to say again, but the fact that these people think there's room and space, has that been the learning curve from all of this?
I mean, some of it is like, okay, like I was already expecting like some of those comments, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay, yes.
But sometimes there was a few where I'm just like, I just kind of want to like correct it. I don't know why.
If you want, here's your place, and I'll make sure they hear the damn fucking response. Dumbasses.
I didn't really feel like I looked that well put together. I was tired. I was mad, and it just happened randomly when I met that guy. So
please tell the story, because I'm sure the internet doesn't know.
Okay, so the day before that, LV wanted to take me to like kind of like a sober living home or whatever.
Right.
I didn't know anything about it, and I told him I'd go just to see, and Blako got left out, and the whole thing just was a mess, and it was giving me an anxiety, and something kept telling me to like leave. I don't know why, and I felt kind of defeated. Like that's just a cop out. I'm just like making an excuse, right?
Right.
It was so like perfect too. Like they were giving all these incentives. They went out, bought us bikes, and like gave us like $1 gift cards and a bus pass for a week, like stuff like that. And
but it just felt pressure that wasn't right.
Yeah, it felt like it was happening too fast, and it just didn't feel right. So
right.
I don't know. I left, and then we all kind of split up that day, and I like ended up at some random bus stop, and I was just sitting there like, wow, like this is like embarrassing, like because I had told them that if I just felt like I was like bringing too much drama to their life maybe, and like they could do so much more out there without me. Like if anything, I'm just like a burden. And
you're so hard on yourself, Shay, and I don't even know you like that, but damn girl,
I'm useless. I was sitting there thinking like, what if I get hungry? How am I gonna eat? And then
you got scared, but then you didn't get scared. I can hear it. You were like, go away, but don't leave.
Yeah, I got scared, and then
right.
Yeah, and I just was ready to like honestly just be done with it all.
Right.
Like I just wanted to kill myself, and like I don't know, like I just start thinking like even no matter which way this like ends, like there's always gonna be like that like empty feeling of like
right.
I don't know, like no matter what. So no matter what happens, like I just feel like I don't think I want to be alive. Like at the end of it.
And so no, but did they stay with you? Did the two of them, or were you alone then?
So
that day?
I met back up with Blako. And it was kind of like a weird vibe. But we got a hotel, and I just slept, and then next morning, we were at the bus stop, and that's when I met that guy.
How weird.
Yeah. And
so it was like a call out in your soul at that moment. You were broken and feeling like this needs to end. Whatever this pain is, the pain. I'll call it like it's a fucking horrible thing in the room. Okay, the pain needs to fucking leave, and life needs to go on. Is that what you were thinking? Or life needs to fucking be done because I can't handle the pain in the room. Was that, in a nutshell, kind of describing it?
Yeah, like just the hopelessness, like
right.
So like I don't know, like I don't know.
Defeated. I would feel defeated. Yeah, so this is the thing. I want to bring up your video, but I don't want to irritate the audio, so I'm not going to do that. But I will put it below for people to look at, because I'll tell you guys the story of, and this plays right into what we're saying. Because when I saw your video, I was looking for somebody else. Long story short, that's to be continued. Hopefully we can connect just for your podcast. But I only started following that channel maybe like 6 months to a year ago, dude. So it's weird too, really, because I didn't know there was channels like that. I watched one in Michigan, but it's so devastating, and we're going to touch on it later in this podcast, or potentially others. But the fentanyl epidemic that's out there, it was like I didn't know about it until a year ago, and it's because I've stayed in my bubble since I left LA. And now, where the town I live, just to segue for a moment, we have people all the time just parking their cars and them finding them hours later, several cars with people dead. So it's horrible. Like and I'm on I-70, so it's like, I don't know if you know Colorado's areas, but it's like there's nothing between like 3 to 8 hours sometimes, the span. So, and sometimes not reception. So to have it be like killing people everywhere, and then to like find yourself on a damn channel that you're not even on that level, but you've experienced some of this shit around you is fucking beautiful in itself, because you're supposed to be here, Shay. You have a reason to be here. You found yourself in the weirdness of it. They just put you right in the middle of it. But, I mean, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that? Because, I mean, shit, the weird happenstance of finding you by looking for somebody else, I find you. And here you are. Let's discuss it. Go for it, girl. Shut up.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange thing. I didn't really think like fentanyl was gonna be like anything important in my life.
Right.
I really didn't think that it was either. The smell of it alone, I never smelled it before. I don't even know how to describe it. Other than it smells like curdled milk. Sometimes it just smells like straight trash.
Lovely.
And I don't know, so they're blue. They're these little blue pills.
Mm-hmm.
They have I think the number 30 written on them or printed on them, and they have an M on them. They're tiny.
Okay.
And such an issue that just the other day I found one in the bathroom stall at a QT.
Wow.
So
they're just hanging out everywhere.
Yeah.
Holy
when
shit.
I think of that, it just makes me think what about the children?
It looks like candy. It really does. Right.
That's scary. And so, what is fentanyl? How do you describe it?
Super thrived meth. Am I wrong? With a little heroin on the side. I mean, I don't know. This was described from. I mean, okay. Let's just go full transparency so that we can bounce back and forth, and you can know, because I don't think I really went deep, but I was with a person for 6 years who was my poly number one man, and he might come on the podcast with a collab with all of us, hopefully. Cross your fingers and your toes. So, but he hasn't lived on the street, but he has been a heroin addict for 15 years, and he's been in 15 different psych wards because he has severe depression. So he wanted to die, and he tried a lot, obviously. Okay. And he never he was too much of a pussy to cut himself, he said. But, getting high and dying is much better in his opinion. That's not to be a dick. That's just the way. He's from New York. It's the way it is. So, and fentanyl, back when I met him, fentanyl was something it wasn't spoken of. He wanted what he wanted. But now, I'll just say this, coming from a New York atmosphere and Kansas City, Missouri, which I don't know if you're near Chicago, it's the same mentality. This shit, they want to, it's a drown out, but he was more into psychedelics and he was more into cannabis, but then heroin has always been a part of his life because it really did numb him. And he had a lot of health problems. So he used it kind of medicinally, but meth was never something he wanted. But when fentanyl came out, that kind of high was what he went for. So only in a fucking year, my ex has, I believe it's only been a year, or maybe less, could be less, has overdosed 5 times, and every time he overdoses, he needs 5 Narcans every time. So it's bad, and he's already asking why he can't die. So we're not here to suggest anyone take that route or to go the route of fentanyl, but I'm just saying, open fucking conversation here. It is a problem, because I said, well, are you still using heroin? He's like, not as much as I'm using fentanyl.
I mean, being on the street, I have never heard anyone ask or never have been asked.
Right.
Or, yeah, whatever. I've just never heard anything about heroin. I know what it is.
Wow, really? It's not the... Wow.
Anywhere you go, pretty much, where there's people, I guess.
And he was intravenous, so we understand everything. Come a little bit closer.
Sorry.
Okay, you're great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any question you get asked is, you got any G, you got any pills, which is the fentanyl, the blues, whatever, or if you got a cigarette.
Interesting.
And it's more blues than anything else, and it's so normal that it's just normal.
Wow.
and it's crazy. And
have you
it's just like,
experienced anybody overdosing in front of you?
there was some guy that he was in what I don't know, like in an underpass where like people hang out.
Right.
And we walked past him, and he looked like he was seizing. And we walked all the way to the end, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, it's just, I was just out of my like comfort zone, and for like a second, like walking through that, and it didn't really even hit me that like what is happening, but everyone was just standing around like nothing, and this girl was talking about how, oh, it's so messed up, they're not even doing anything, and I guess they had given him Narcan or something already, or something.
It doesn't always work.
Well, I don't even know what was happening, but they were just like standing there, like nobody was doing anything. And you know, like the way it was treated is like you don't call the police and all these things. So
of course.
I like when I heard the girl like saying something like they're not doing anything, I was like, wait a minute, like, what do you mean they're not doing anything? So I like went back, and I thought like usually I'm like pretty like calm,
right?
And like this time, well, I can't say that much anymore because I literally like lost it. I was like, no, help me. You guys have to help me. I'm like trying to put him on his side. He was like convulsing, like terribly.
Oh my God. Okay.
His body was like stiffening up, and I'm like, no, help me. I'm like crying, and they're like, he's fine. And Blake like pulls me out, and he was like, no, that's not how you do it. That's not how you handle this, or whatever. Like I was freaking out. And we got out of that little tunnel, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they were like surrounding us, and like I don't know. I don't think I was helping, but I ended up calling like
a medic.
Someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a couple days later, one of his friend that was in the tunnel that was there.
Right.
We saw. At first, I was like, "Who is this man?" But he was like, "Oh, I just want to like tell you thank you. My friend is doing fine. He wasn't doing well though, so thank you, whatever."
Holy shit! You saved his life, Shay.
Yeah, I was like a little bit confused. Like, then it hit me, and I was like, "Oh my god, okay, awesome." And it was weird.
You're like Superwoman on the street with her fucking phone. You better beat a motherfucker up if they ever try to take it. Lock that shit. Seriously. I know that's the struggle. I mean, let's just, is it okay if I at least softly talk about what I shared with you? Because I haven't let the internet know completely, and there's no telling if my brother is listening, but just for context, because there's no judgment here, and people may think this is one-sided. It's not. My brother's been on the street now for going on, I think it's 11 years now. 11 or 12 soon. And the situation, I'll be happy to go on your podcast and talk about it if you want to. But the situation happened over time because I respect the shit out of anybody, Shay, who decides they want to do things for themselves. I think that's great. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. Like, join the fucking circus or something. I don't care. Do you. Go to Africa. Back, I know it's respect to people's life choices. But also, pain can drive you places. And my brother lost my mom when we were 12. He was 12, and I was 18, 19. I was 18. And then Katrina happened. It was like 1, 2, 3, all these things, right? And my brother became in boys' homes. And I think, you see it. I'm sure you see it. Some people are, and actually, please don't tell them that they need to come on, but I would love to have them on if they'd like to talk about the subject, even yourself, about how like jails fucking create people that they don't need to in the world that are actually decent people. Like you were saying, having a record's one thing, but it's pretty fucked up when you're trying to just think about the normal again, like having a place to put your shit, not worrying somebody's going to steal it, and I was in a foster home for 3 months while I was a teenager. So I remember people being that group mentality we're talking about, like where they're like, oh, that's not going to work out for you. And that's not, it creates negative. And you're here you are, still going through it, experiencing this person you said just you didn't know to look out for it, right? It was just a whole moment of a lesson, or what was
Right, like it was so strange that it almost felt like faked, and that's so messed up because that man was not faking it.
no. You just couldn't believe it was real.
It's weird how it just happened, and I'm just sitting there like, why is nobody doing anything? Like
the attitude of whatever.
Yeah, it was just so strange. I don't know, but what happens if what would have happened if I didn't do anything, like trying to be like too cool for school, like how everyone seemed to be acting?
You'd be thinking about that man for the rest of your life.
It's just crazy, and it was weird because in between that happening and then when I ran into his friend, there was a guy at a gas station that was like hanging around us, and he looked like him, and I just kept staring at him like, what does that mean? Like, it's like, okay, like I was like tripping, like, oh no, like what if like, I don't know, I was like thinking like, what if this is like him, and like I don't know, like I don't know, in another universe or something. Or, I don't know, felt like something bad could have happened, and I don't know why I thought so negative on it, but I think like I ran into his friend for a reason, so that I don't have to like hold on to that, like, oh my gosh, like I think he died, like mentality, like
right. I mean, and do you feel like I don't know if you've been to California or other. Well, okay, when was the last time? When was the year that you were in Chicago? Because I'm definitely sure there's like 10 cities everywhere now. I just went to Denver recently, and I think it's unacceptable. You guys are in a warmer place, but I'm sure it still gets cold.
Oh yeah, it gets cold.
It's fucked up that like this is okay. Not for you, like a judgment towards you or anybody else. Like I'm saying, I have my own fucking situations in my family, but I'm saying, why has it been normalized now? This is insane. And then the drugs, like you're saying, and the attitudes from the people. This is not like speak, girl. Shut up. I get mad. Sorry.
So I don't know what it was, but something, I don't know, but something possessed me one night, and I was like having like my talk with God and like trying to like figure some things out, I guess. And it was weird because I found a perfectly cut out good piece of foil, a piece of a straw, and one of those pills. And I was like, and it's all like in different spots and whatever. I don't know. It really even matter, but it felt like for whatever reason, I needed to experience it.
I understand that.
I don't know. Not that I wanted to. I never could stand it. I still can't. The smell is just terrible, all of it. And so I didn't even know how to do it, but I was like trying to think like, how do I see people doing this? And I almost smoked the whole thing, and nothing happened.
Really?
And nothing happened, and I was like,
okay. That's scary though, because I know different ones are different qualities.
I know, I understand that too, right?
Right.
So, in the morning, like we were all three of us were roommates, like me and LB and Blakea.
Right.
We were roommating, and so in the morning, I was telling them like about like my little like talk with God and everything, and then like I told them that I smoked, and I was like, look, I smoked one. And it didn't even do anything. So, like, do you guys have something to tell me? I thought they were faking it. And they were like, what?
Okay.
They thought I was lying, like, for the longest time, too. And I'm like, why would I lie about that? Like, it didn't do anything. You guys are weird. And so that, like, I just was like, I don't know. Those things are fake. I didn't even put any other, like, meaning behind that. Not know, like, God saved my life, nothing.
No, right? I get it. So, yeah.
It was just like, no, they're all lying. They're fake. And I went to, or recently, so like months later, like, I don't know, like 6-7 months later.
Right.
Fast forward, and I ended up in the hospital, and there's a bunch of weird stuff that happened with that, but they let me leave. I was in so much pain, like I thought I was dying, like childbirth type of pain.
Oh, cramping pain. Got you.
Yeah, so I left with like a prescription for a Vicodin that was like a low dosage, and
Right.
like 5 of them. And I mean, they were pumping me with morphine apparently, and nothing was working.
Right. You have a high pain tolerance. I get it.
I don't know, like I've had a morphine shot before for stomach pain, and it took one shot, and I was like, okay, like ooh, flowing, you know,
Right.
and I'm ready to go home. So, I mean, they had 2 IVs in both arms and 2 things full of morphine. Apparently, they were giving me, which sounds great.
It never works for me, so I totally understand what you're saying. I have bad nightmares.
It was weird the way it all happened, but whatever. They gave me Vicodin to go home with. I took those as needed. Nothing was working, and I was just so like desperate that I had like I like decided to like try smoking the fentanyl.
Right.
Just like one little day, like one hit, I guess, just to let me go to sleep. You know?
Right.
And I did it for 3 days in a row, and I hit it like once every single time. But that first time when I hit it, that first night, whatever, it was crazy. Like my whole body, like rushed, like it was like warm, just rushed over my whole body. I felt like I was like as if I took like 5 Benadryls. Like it was that intense, and it was kind of scary. So I was like just in shock. Like, wait a minute, like if this is what it does to people, like why didn't I die that day?
Right.
So I don't know, like is that like God or they have like pills that are
no, it's totally a different batch you got finally on that. It's probably what it is because I'll tell you, that's what my ex used to say about cocaine. He was like, I fucking love it when I feel that warm, cozy feeling. And heroin did the same thing for him. So, and he wouldn't be disrespected for me sharing that. So, and that's the make or break moment with fentanyl.
Right. It's I don't understand though, like where, and I guess like everyone's different though.
Right.
So it's not commercials where it's like, oh, not even once, or like, you know, not even once. It's gonna
right.
Well, like all those times that I did it, when I like after I came out of the hospital or whatever, I never like wanted it or like.
That's good.
It just still never appealed to me in any sort of way.
It stinks to you. That's a fucking blessing in itself.
Like, yeah, people are like, oh, it smells so good. It tastes so good. I'm like, where? You like curdled milk? You're welcome. There you go.
I mean, finding yourself in that experience, though. So, all right. And you don't have to share this at all. And you don't need to point names out. I don't think you should at all. So I'm just going to say that just for pointing the obvious. But do you have people in your life that are into it? And so it's hard because you worry?
Yeah. I get so scared. Like, I don't know what Narcan looks like. I don't know how to use it. It's supposed to be
free in every fucking state, but you're supposed to have like.
I've never seen it.
You need to go on your phone. We'll talk after the show. I'll help you. Yeah. Get some regularly.
I like will scare them, and sometimes I guess I'm probably like making them feel bad about the whole thing, but
no, you love them. That's why you care.
Life. Yeah, it's like I love them, and like you're messing with your life at that point. So like, if I have to make you feel bad, then like so be it.
Well, addiction's a real thing. Let's also state that.
Right.
Okay. Yes, and pain true. That has addiction as its like fucking backbone, right? The real pain, it could be mental, like, it could be physical.
And it could just be like totally something
it could be recreational too. We have to admit that. Let's admit it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Like however it is for you, that's what it is. But I mean, with someone really close to me, I never knew like the true like story of like, or not the true, but the original story, whatever. However,
right.
It like happened for them to be addicted to like how they got to that point of like fentanyl, and it's sad because it made me start realizing like, wow, this is happening everywhere.
It is.
To a lot of people. So with this story, he was in an accident as like a teen or preteen.
Okay.
Was put on like a painkiller.
Yes.
Like regimen. whatever it is, but it wasn't regulated, and he wasn't. I mean, maybe it was regulated to a point, but he wasn't aware of like what it could possibly do to him,
Right.
which eventually
Is
got him addicted
addiction.
to it.
Yep.
He didn't know that he was addicted to it until he started getting sick, and his friend told him, like, dude, like, you're sick. Like, well, I can help you. Heroin is the same thing. It's cheap.
Yep.
And he was like, what? That's crazy. And that's where it starts. And that's sad because, like, how are you supposed to know? You know, like, obviously no one wants to be sick. And if they didn't know any of it to begin with and they still don't know it then, like, I guess, like, that sickness behind it really is what, like, is like the chain to it, I guess.
Don't you think? I mean, I don't know. Look, it could just be rumors. So fucking set the record straight. Ask people. Get back to me. I'm fine with it. But the parts of, isn't it like heroin or other addiction, even meth withdrawal? Isn't it a totally different withdrawal from fentanyl? Like you get really sick to the point, like your body. I mean, what is it that? I thought that there's like a shorter period of time though when you can actually be clean from it, but technically the pain is a lot worse.
I'm not sure. I think with meth, you just sleep a bunch when you're not.
But I'm saying with fentanyl, what's the like what? Yeah.
I've watched people sober up from fentanyl, and it's really was like, and this is only from one experience, but
right.
I've heard different things, and it's kind of like having the flu for a couple of days. Sometimes.
So it's more so a choice that people stay on it, or for the dependency, or no, that the happy place it brings them.
Maybe I don't know. Honestly,
it's
for me. I don't hold any like feeling to it, even though I've tried it before. There's
right. Yeah, you like, can't identify with it. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. For other people, maybe it's just I don't know, like just not being. Because I know and I've seen it and I've heard it that the anxiety that comes with like coming down from it is like crazy. And I see it. And what happens when you're stuck in like one of those like anxiety like funks, you know, where you're just like, I don't know what it is. I just can't get out of this. You know?
That's what acid does to me. So I don't do acid. Fuck that. It puts me in a horrible place mentally.
Yeah, like kind of just like a weird spot. So it's like it could be so bad like you're watching TV but you can't change the channel because if the genre changes then your whole mood's gonna feel weird.
Here, take this in. I cried for like 4 hours and watched a YouTube. You get my point. Wink, wink. That was a trip in its own on acid. So yeah, no, it can be like even drugs that don't kill you can fuck you up long term, unfortunately. Right. But it's the experience sometimes is the trade-off, which I just know I'm not met for some things. Like pain pills don't work for me, but I understand people's real pain. And I had a friend in California who would, visit and we'd smoke together. She finally admitted she knew that I wasn't catching on. She had been shooting up in the bathroom. And I was mad at her for one reason, that I didn't want to find her dead there. You know what I mean? Because that was killing me. It wasn't even the choice anymore for these people because I had a mom with breast cancer who sold her shit. She had to. She needed cannabis. She didn't want pain pills. She's gone now. Nobody can arrest her. So, you know what I mean? Like, people do things for different reasons to survive. So I don't think anybody who's listening, if they don't understand what Shay's expressing, she has enough respect to give for people around her to make their own mistakes and learn from it. But you're just hoping this shit doesn't kill your people, right? Is that what you're conveying?
Of course, and something like although it hasn't, I didn't think that it was like anything of an important like thing in all of this,
Right.
There's a lot of times searching for like what is going on, why, what is the reason. Well, I paid attention to a lot, and to the point where like I'm just hyper like aware of like everything, where it's kind of exhausting. But one thing that always was standing out to me was the waste problem, I guess, like waste management.
Oh, yeah, please.
I had met someone that their job was like, it was interesting to me. I don't know, like, how it is, but this is like where it kind of started, I guess, for me. Looking back, but I met somebody that talked about their job, which was like trying to find ways to
come closer.
Dispose of it. Sorry,
you're good. You're good.
What was, I guess, like what I got from their explanation of it was like they're trying to like come up with ways to like dispose of like our waste, I guess, like just trash and everything. So I mean, I thought that was interesting. Whatever, time goes by, and I'm just always seeing stuff about like recycling and trash this, trash that, like just more than usual. And I don't know if that's just like my brain is
up. Right.
Yeah, or like if it meant something. And but obviously, like if I can't figure out anything else, like right now or whatever, then like obviously like something about that must be important. Like maybe like it's something could be happening to the world where like we're not like taking care of it.
Right.
I mean, that's been the thing forever, but I don't know. I don't really know how to recycle, and so I was like, maybe like I need to recycle or something.
Do they even let you there? I don't know if they do. Is there recycling? I know that's a horrible question, but I'm in Colorado and there's no such thing.
Really, I still don't really understand it. I mean, we have the 2 different colored bins. So
oh, you're lucky. You should feel like hyped up on that. You also have Uber. I don't. It's fucking bullshit. Really? It's horrible.
So, okay, this is another thing. This is where, like, it started really, like, okay, like, slapping me in the face. Like, okay, if you're not paying attention now, then, like, maybe you'll pay attention. Like, if you weren't paying attention then, maybe you'll pay attention now. And it was weird that, I don't even know how to say it because it's going to sound crazy, but...
No, take your time, and you're not crazy, and you please share.
It seemed as though, so I was living in my car, and like certain people that would come into my car, it was kind of like they were taking my trash.
Gotcha.
I'm a regular amount of messy, so like whatever. Like I have a couple of receipts on the ground or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes.
And like people would just be taking up all my trash and kind of making me feel like I was like dirty for that. But I think it was like more of an excuse for them to like pick it up without it looking like they were being weird.
Right.
Because I think it's for a weird reason. For a long time, like I would be getting into like screaming matches with people like, why are you touching my trash? Stop touching it. Like, it's fine. Like, what if you throw away something I need? Like, don't do that, please. And like, it just sounded ridiculous, but it was like making me like really like uncomfortable. And then if everywhere I would go like to like use a restroom, it was like the restrooms were closed down. And
that's torture.
It was getting so bad to where I was like getting like problems, like my
bladder infection. Oh, okay.
Like just my stomach, like the whole my bladder, I guess, like just was it was getting like tortured too. So I don't know what that was, but some of the people that I would meet, they would like offer for me to like go to their house or whatever to like shower and stuff, and that's probably stupid, but whatever, like I did it anyways.
It's survival.
And one place specifically was strange. They had like their toilet like purposefully like to where it would clog.
Oh boy.
And like this is what I think happened because later other little things were being said about being like fed like laxatives. And
that's never
some
fun.
Situations it was kind of like some joke that was like towards like some joke about it about me like to be fed laxatives. I don't know why that was even being said until I was like trying to put it all together, make it make sense. But like, so the guy that I was talking about right before that, the toilet was like purposefully clogged, and then this is like a lot of TMI, but I felt like maybe that had happened. Like he maybe had gave me something that like a laxative or something, and then like purposefully did that because I was like, what the hell? Like I fixed it, and I even watched like a YouTube video like how to fix it because it was so embarrassing. And I came out and he was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, why? Fix your toilet. It was just really, really strange. I ended up leaving that house like in a panic, like just tripped out. And then, yeah, all the other little things.
You're like in a town full of weirdos and 2 knights in shining armor.
Yes, and oh my goodness.
You are! And tell them I said that. They'll hear it a few times.
I mean, I've seen people digging in the trash, not like in a regular like trash picking, but indoors with the bag from the kitchen, sitting at the end of the stairs, smearing their face in the trash like as hard as they can, to the point where their face is like red and like they're like nervous and like that I just caught them doing that. And they're like, oh,
that's the sun affecting them.
But we're living indoors, so.
Oh wait, you're right. You said that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's really weird, and so
strange.
It just was accumulating into like me having this weird fear of like dumpsters and like trash and what is going on with that, and I don't know what it is, but the whole
they're like different types of. And I don't mean this in a negative way. I hope that doesn't come off like it could very well trigger people to think I'm being negative. But like different creatures that you can kind of put out there that have different energies. I don't know. What would you say they are in Alice in Wonderland? Because they're not the flowers and they're not the guy on the mushroom. They're not Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I don't even know. Maybe like the little soldier people, maybe. Ooh. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Like the cards, I guess.
Maybe. I was gonna say the weird black forest. That might be it. That is kind of the energy.
Sure. But it's weird because
that talk to them, you know.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about there too. That's also something weird. Someone told me that. So I like experience that stuff, I guess.
Right.
And my logical side is telling me, you just need sleep.
Right.
And that's what people would say. But just the way I've seen it and how often is like undeniable in a way, like people are really good at theatrics and they're going way out of their way to like mess up my brain. Right. Or it could be something and like someone had explained it to me, like I just have a gift to be able to like see that.
Yep, I agree.
And that it's a cool thing, and they're like telling me that their own like mom sees this stuff or whatever, or, you know. And
so other people are thinking this about you.
Well, not about me, but like about like their own experiences with it. So with everything too, like everything I talk about, and like I try to like let it be clear, like if I still am like unsure, like, but most of the stuff that I'm like for sure on is comes from like my certainty on it comes from other people's experiences too in their own ways.
Right.
So, and I have to be careful with that too, because sometimes I can tell like someone's just talking to me, like making it up, I guess.
Right.
And they don't.
No good.
It doesn't feel like genuine.
No.
And I don't know. Sometimes people don't take it well in general. Like people choose not to believe in certain things because that's not their reality. You know?
Right. And you've seen so many different, like, I want to say dimensions almost. Is that a good way of putting it? It kind of is.
I have a theory of like, and I watched a video recently that kind of explains it better. So
Yes.
like kind of work it the way they did, but kind of like the alternate like reality is kind of like being so close together, like the timing and everything,
Right.
whatever it is, that it just like turning a corner for me, like I could swap into a whole different universe.
Oh, it's happening.
And I've seen,
yep.
Yeah, and so I don't know how that all works, but I think for like a while that's been happening to me, and I had no clue.
See, you can entertain yourself with some of your podcasts that you think you're not even sure if what you're pondering is the reality, as you said, or you could leave it there to remind you how right you were.
Right.
That's
where.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of like don't know. Like, do I? I mean, if your reality is like what you make of it, like with believing in that, it's like,
well, it's no different than prayer, because like if you put the energy into hope, like I was saying, you know.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a
Someone
seed.
said something like that to me recently, and it kind of like I don't want to think about it that way, because like it's supposed to be innocent, but if it's affecting life in such weird ways,
well,
it kind of worries
your
me.
brain, your heart, and your voice all can make prayer happen. So prayer can also be just like putting vocalizing hate or love can put good or bad.
Yeah. And then so I like write my journal, right? And sometimes and even still, like just my normal regular self, thinking like anything I do or say doesn't affect anyone, I could be writing like 3 pages of like all this like disappointment that I have in like myself and life and or people around me or whatever, and then like not even think anything of it, and then like a couple days later someone's like saying something about it, and it's so negative, and I'm like, oh my god, did I do that type of thing,
like you were saying, just so the listeners understand, in our pre-conversation you were saying like you're not into witchcraft and you're not doing that, and I agree. And I am somebody who's not really religious anymore. I'm spiritual, but I have never been someone who, listen, when I don't know how you feel about spirits or like things like that. Do you believe in spirits?
I used to believe, so this is how I was about spirits or ghosts. I never could ever picture myself believing in that, but I would believe in like aliens or anything else.
Okay, well then say why, because I like turn my brain around. I love hearing people's opinion about this, and it's a part of you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why I never like believed it, but I think it's because like those like paranormal activity type of movies like scare me so bad that I'm like I would just like drop dead if I like got picked up by something, like like
right. Go ahead.
That stuff scares me. But if it's not, and so in my life now I believe in it, but what is it though? Is it just some type of like alien? Is it a spirit?
Oh, girl, you are so high five. Yes, I think
it's the same thing. It's called the unseen for a reason. And if they do want to be seen, they can be seen as anything. So.
Okay. Here's a thought. Let's take a chew on this moment. So, the Loch Ness Monster, how do we know that's not a demon thing? Right. There you go. Okay, what about our little Planet of the Apes guy? What's his name? The Sasquatch.
Oh,
that guy. He's probably a freaking alien too, because Planet of the Apes is pretty close to that shit. Man, I'm just saying. High five. I love that you think that way. Hell yes. I love it.
Like the people that are like forgotten in life.
No, it's true. Okay, so I've thought it's like an evolution of understanding, because think about the mindset of the Native Americans and how the Mayans saw things, felt things, knew things, and whether aliens were there or not, It's spirituality that can be like, is spirituality like, okay.
I mean, there's stories with them talking about their children, the star children, being abducted, and they would just sit there and watch them get flown up in the sky, and they would accept it because they were like important, and the ones that were left behind, it was because that they believed that they held the like power to
change the children in the world,
right, and like to restore Earth.
Are we talking about crystallines, or are we talking about indigo children?
The star children,
star seeds,
star seed child.
Yes.
Children.
See, everybody, she's very advanced. She's not slow. She knows what she's talking about. Jeez Louise, you got so much to add to your freaking podcast with all these topics. Seriously. See, not many people think about it. See, I have this whole thought. Like, if they're dimensions, right, that we all live amongst. Because I believe that our ancestors never leave us. They're always accountable for us. That's my belief system. But if aliens are doing things amongst us, like, I don't know if you believe in the what are those people? The Men in Black people. Is that what they're called? Where they're like aliens that are government official people?
The Men in Black?
Yes. The real ones, not the movie. The real ones. So, that shit is where it borders on real and fake, because it could be real these days. We live in such a weird ass technology. And I live in like a rural part of Colorado. You live in Arizona. Do you see things in your sky? Because when I lived in LA, I couldn't see shit from the fucking smog and the lights. Can you see the stars and everything? Is it like, or do you have to kind of go out far?
The most I see really is like just the, I don't know, like, okay, so sometimes like the moon, like, same time the next day, it's like in a whole different area.
Right.
Like, there's like a star that's that one day it's like below the moon, and then the next day it's above the moon. I don't know, that's weird.
Have you seen the Stargate yet? The little fucking starlight thing? You don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, so there is a let me plug my phone in. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Let me plug this one in. So Stargate, I think it's what it's called. Starlink. Maybe it's Starlink. It's the straight stars that Elon Musk SpaceX has put out. It hovers over our mountain pretty creepily, and it looks like the space invaders are coming. It's like straight up like Independence Day. A lot of bright lights.
I don't know. There's so many lights and stuff that I don't even know. Like, I used to love watching the sky, and like my first instinct when I would walk out would be to like find the moon.
Right.
So like when I started noticing like how weird the moon was like behaving, I guess.
Come a little closer.
It just started like confusing me so much that I was like, whatever, like it's not real. Like I just feel like it's like something's wrong there. So I'm not gonna like.
Do you have binoculars, or have you ever looked in it? It's so strange looking, but I don't believe it's flat Earth. Do you believe it's flat Earth?
I don't know, because what is that anyways? Like
that there's like an ending and a beginning, but if you really do look, you'll have to come on as a guest on one of my actual lives that I do with other guests, because we love to hash this shit out. Where like for real, like there's supposed to be, I've seen it in parts of Antarctica and parts of the area of Russia, not like in their land. We're talking like even in the sea, there's places that are so blocked off and they're not military. So there's supposed to be like this theory that in Antarctica, there's a bunch, and in, I think it's Antarctica, Iceland, maybe, all the way at the top, whatever that is. Antarctica. That there's bases that look, and you can look it up yourself, that look like a square under ice. So they like kind of, if you can imagine that there's like potential bases along, if it was, and they don't let you go further. You can't go over airspace. You can't be like, but you can go in a circle a different way, is what they claim with the globe. I'm not a flat earther, but I guess question everything with that, you know?
I question all. I feel like the fastest way to space sometimes is probably through the ocean.
Oh,
and, like,
hell yes.
All these little creatures, like, that's just distractions because, like, we go crazy over, like, jellyfish or whatever.
Right.
But if we went too close that specific day and didn't find that jellyfish, then, like, we probably would have, like, hit, like, something crazy, you know?
Right. Hey, I have a big question. Shay, do you have like an Amazon wish list that you can put together so the listeners can purchase things to help you with your podcast? Is there a way to get it to you? That's the only thing. If we'll talk behind the scenes, but
I could definitely look into
set something up if you can, like, and I can help you behind the scenes. But you need like ring lights and all kinds of other shit that you can do things, so you can do what you want to do. You're in a hotel most of the time. You have all these great ass fucking ideas on your podcast. She's not stale, people. Everybody's like, what the fuck else is she? Because you only give a little, which I love. It's the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, I'm tiptoeing right now.
You're supposed to. Don't take off your shoes yet. You're not even in the ocean. Well, and then, so we're talking about aliens real quick here. So, I mean, are you somebody who has always been into aliens when you were young too?
I mean, not too much, but like I got really into like the documentaries and all this stuff.
Yes.
And I started having theories, so I was like, yeah, no wonder, like this makes so much sense. And, like, I don't know, it's intriguing. Like, there has to be something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you in regards to spirits and whatnot. Like, so you come from Arizona, so you've never experienced a ghost. I'm putting pressure on you. I'm sorry.
I was going to say this earlier. I feel like I did, where I was saying like I don't know if I'm seeing dead people or what, but
right.
Certain people in my life that I know for a fact that I guess like should have died.
Right.
That's like weird way to explain it, but I mean family members.
Right.
People.
They're different people. They've become a complete different person. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's that, and then people that have like died. Apparently, I end up seeing them somehow, and like some of these people are talking to me. And so I'm like, how is that? Like, that makes no sense. Either I'm seeing dead people or they're a witness. And that's why no one's telling me anything.
Okay. Have you ever seen The Russian Doll on Netflix?
Like a nesting Russian doll?
No, not the actual physical. It's a series. Russian Doll. You must watch it because your brain is so made for that movie. It's not even.
It's a
series. Yes. You need to. I'm telling you with all my soul. I've watched it so many times and it gets my head so straight with like, I accept this wild ride. You need to hear it. And if anybody, you're already living it in so many different ways. Like, it's beautiful. Like, and do it from the beginning to the end. You have not seen it before?
No, I heard of it.
Oh my gosh, you're so behind. You got to get on it because you're living it in a weird, fucked up, good way. You're going to appreciate the shit of your strength.
So this is like the crazy thing about like anything that I watch or read.
Okay.
Somehow everything and this was in the beginning where it was really tripping me out.
Right.
Where everything was like, wow, why does that feel like it's my life? Like everything, even stuff that I watched before, somehow now has.
Oh, this is a gift. I would not suggest this on your interview if I didn't think you needed to hear it. It's a gift. Me saying this show, this is soul changing because you already are strong as fuck like this woman in the video. Because it's like, what the hell is going on? And then she crawls out, and when you get to the end, I'm not telling you, I refuse. I refuse. It is I don't know if you have a Chromecast that you can put in there or if they let you. Does it there's smart TVs in the hotel?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because you got to put it on big screen. Otherwise that sucks. But it's a really good story. But look for the metaphors and you're going to stop that shit so many times and be like, because it's really good. There's a lot of shit. And you could watch it backwards. I fucked with that. It was pretty good, actually. You know, it's a real psychological bender, and you're living the most like humble version of you. Don't I can hear you, Shay. You don't want to know what's going to happen yet, but you're like have to turn the page like Alice in Wonderland, reading on like the little book under the tree. Was she asleep the whole time, or did she fall down the rabbit hole? Right? Question the unfortunate fortune. Unfortunately, no. Go listen to her series. Like for real, I want to leave them on a clincher with that. Is that okay? Can we just kill it and come back another time? Kill it? All right. So we'll be back, guys, because you don't even know. We gave you so many. It's like different breads. You're such a weirdo with your damn breads. You're like sourdough and wheat and fucking everything. And you drag the little breadcrumbs through the forest. And we have to find out what it means. So I'm going to say this is part 1 of our unfortunately fortunate. Do you see how I did that? Yeah. I mixed it up. Little chit chat with Shay. And if you want to get to know more of her, I'm sure she's going to feel comfortable sharing on her own little podcast too, a bits and more pieces about who Alice is. I'm going to call it like that. Shay Alice. Alice Shay. Right. And I don't know. I want to figure out your characters. So like when we talk, I mean characters in the sense of your hearts. That's what I'm going to call them. Your hearts. They're all different, you know, like whatever. What's their color? You got to ask them. But for metaphor reasons. But we'll have them on the next little follow-up to introduce who they are and their side of the story, I'm sure, and all their funness. And we're probably going to be collabing as well because honestly, I think, Shay, you just have something there. And don't be shy to show it because in these many months, it's not a fluke, girl. I'm a stranger and I'm telling you, you're not a fluke. This is real. So just live it, experience it, and just document what you feel. And reach out to me anytime. And everybody else who's listening, please go follow her on Instagram. I'll put all her information below. Shay in Wonderland with a V and not, it's Shay IN and then like Wonderland, but with a V. Do you want to leave the listeners with any last little words? Keep them interested.
Thank you guys for listening. And if you're confused about anything, yeah, let us know because I have stories.
Yes. I love it. Hey, maybe she'll become a regular and we can get her on like, I don't know, a few times a month. She can come with more of her, I don't know. I like a lot of different stories. So like, I don't know. What's another story other than Alice in Wonderland you love? Because we can play off of that. Cinderella's mine, just so you know. That's a deep one. Fucking pumpkins rotten and shit. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, like the dark versions, like everything.
How about oh man, we'll have to come back at you. Maybe we'll do a whole episode of metaphors and bring the guys on too. We got to get them warmed up. Start like just putting the phone on them and be like, "What's your thoughts on this?" All right, we're done. Anyway, guys, thank you all for listening. I know it's been interesting. It was intentionally supposed to be done that way. And until next time, have a good day, night, wherever you're at, and check out her links. And I'm ending it now, Shay, and just hang tight. Don't hang up.